Imagine lying beneath a velvet sky, where every star hums with quiet mystery. You close your eyes, and the sound of the world fades into something softer, like the breath of the universe itself. Tonight's story will carry you there, into that gentle in-between, where science feels like poetry, and the smallest particles of light whisper secrets older than time. This is not a lesson. It is a lullaby of wonder, a journey through the hidden pulse of reality, told so slowly, so tenderly, that before you realize it, you may already be dreaming. The air is still tonight. Outside your window, the hum of the world has softened into something distant and kind, a low rhythm that seems to echo your heartbeat. The lamp beside you glows like a tired moon, and in its quiet light, the edges of everything, your hands, the blanket, the room seem to blur. You're safe here, wrapped in warmth and shadow, and as your mind begins to drift, you sense that something vast and ancient is leaning close, whispering through the silence. It's lovely to have you here. Before we begin, imagine where you are, perhaps on a soft couch, or a train sliding through the night, or in your bed, the sheets cool against your skin. Wherever you are, let that place become a small universe of calm. Because tonight, we will wander through the fabric of reality itself, not through equations or symbols, but through feeling, through curiosity, through the quiet astonishment that comes when you realize that everything you touch, everything you are, is made of stories too small to see. Close your eyes for a moment and think of the world you know. A teacup resting on a table, a coin spinning through the air, the moon steady in its orbit, solid, predictable, comforting. For centuries, humans believed the universe worked like clockwork, precise, obedient, eternal. But as we learned to look closer, that certainty began to tremble. In the early 20th century, a handful of quiet thinkers peered beneath the surface of the visible world, and what they found there changed everything. They found strangeness. They found beauty. They found that light could be both wave and particle, that matter could shimmer in two places at once, that the act of seeing could shape what was seen. The deeper they looked, the more reality began to behave like a dream. So tonight, as you drift into that soft place between waking and sleep, imagine shrinking smaller and smaller past the fibers of your pillow, past the atoms of air, until you arrive at the edge of the invisible. There, in the hush between moments, the familiar world begins to dissolve. What you thought was solid melts into vibration. What you thought was still begins to dance. It is here, in this secret music, that the story of quantum physics begins. At first, the scientists of that age were confident. The laws of motion were tidy. Thermodynamics was complete. Light fit neatly into the equations of electromagnetism. The universe, it seemed, had been solved. Some even said that all that remained were a few dusty corners, small mysteries that would soon be swept away. But in one of those corners, hidden in the glow of a heated piece of metal, the first crack appeared. Picture a lump of coal growing hot, turning from red to orange to white. It seems simple, doesn't it? The hotter it gets, the brighter it glows. But when scientists tried to describe that glow with the mathematics they trusted, the numbers spiraled into nonsense, predicting infinite energy, impossible light. It was as if nature was laughing gently at their certainty. Then came Max Planck, a German physicist with quiet eyes and a patient mind. He wasn't looking for revolution, he was looking for peace between theory and truth. Yet what he discovered would unravel the universe's neat seams. To make the equations behave, he made a humble suggestion. Perhaps energy wasn't smooth like water, but grainy like sand. Perhaps light and heat came in tiny, indivisible packets quanta. It was a small idea, almost accidental, but it saved the mathematics and opened the first door into the quantum world. Imagine that the entire universe shifting, because one man dared to imagine energy as coins instead of waves. He called it a trick, a temporary fix. He couldn't know that he had just changed forever how we see reality. From that single thought would grow the physics of uncertainty, of duality, of shimmering possibility. And so, as you rest here listening, think of those first glimmers of wonder at the dawn of the quantum age. The scientists didn't yet know what they had found. They only knew that the world was more mysterious than they had dreamed, that even the simplest things, light, heat, matter, were woven from patterns too delicate for certainty. The universe, it seemed, was not made of answers, but of questions that glowed. Outside, the night deepens. The stars above are steady, but now you know they are also trembling, vibrating with energy in countless tiny quanta. Each one a whisper from the birth of time. Every photon that touches your skin carries a story billions of years old. And as you breathe, the same laws that guided those first discoveries hum softly inside you. You are in every way part of that shimmering whole. Let the thought settle over you. The world is stranger than it seems, and that strangeness is gentle. It does not seek to confuse, but to comfort, to remind you that even in uncertainty, there is order, and even in darkness, there is light. If this quiet journey has already stirred a little wonder in you, stay close. We will keep exploring slowly, softly, one mystery at a time. And if you'd like to drift with us again through stars, atoms, and dreams, subscribe to Gentle Sleep Stories. Together, we'll keep listening to the universe whisper. The night continues softly from where we left it. The universe still hums, and the glow of curiosity lingers in the air like candlelight refusing to fade. You are still drifting, half awake, half dreaming, floating on the memory of that first whisper from the stars. We had reached the edge of certainty, where the tidy order of science began to blur into something tender and strange. Now, as the story unfolds, the glow grows warmer. Light is about to speak, and it will speak through the quiet courage of one man who simply wanted the equations to make sense. Imagine Berlin in the winter of 1900. The air smells faintly of smoke and frost. A professor named Max Planck sits alone at his desk, surrounded by sheets of calculations that refuse to agree with one another. Outside, the lamps flicker. Inside, the fire glows, and on the table before him lies a question that will not go away. Why, he wonders, does heated light behave so strangely? When metal glows red, then orange, then white. The pattern should have been simple, but the numbers, those faithful servants of reason, had begun to betray him. They whispered of infinite energy, of impossible brightness, of a universe gone mad at high temperatures. Every attempt to correct them led only to deeper contradiction. It was called the ultraviolet catastrophe, and even the name sounded like a sigh. Planck was not a revolutionary by nature. He was a man of precision, of restraint, a believer in the order of things. Yet that night, he did something quietly radical. He stopped insisting that energy was continuous, that light flowed in a smooth stream like water. What if he thought energy came in tiny, indivisible bundles? What if nature counted in steps instead of sliding scales? He called these steps quanta, the smallest possible packets of energy. The idea felt absurd, almost childish. It contradicted centuries of elegant theory. But Planck's fingers trembled as he tried it in his equations, and for the first time, the math behaved. The impossible infinities disappeared. The formulas sang again, soft and true. In the warm light of his study, Planck didn't know that he had just lit the first spark of the quantum world. He only knew that for once, the universe had whispered back an answer. And in that whisper, reality itself began to shimmer. Pause here for a moment. Picture the glow of a single coal in the hearth. Its color is not steady, it flickers, changing with the breath of the room. Each shade, each vibration of light carries energy measured in quanta so small that no hand could ever hold them. Yet those quanta are everywhere. They are in the warmth of your skin, the shine of your lamp, the spark behind your eyes. Every photon, every pulse of heat is a note in the cosmic song that Planck unknowingly uncovered. He thought it a trick, a temporary patch. He didn't believe the universe could truly be this granular, this mysterious. But time would prove him wrong. Others would take his mathematical convenience and find in it the foundation of a new way of being. Light would soon reveal that it was not merely a wave, not merely a particle, but something in between, something that refused to choose. Planck's discovery did more than solve a problem. It quietly asked a question that still echoes if energy comes in quanta. What else might the universe be counting? Could time itself move in tiny steps? Could reality be woven not as a fabric, but as a sequence of notes played so quickly that they blend into a melody we call existence? Outside Planck's window, snow began to fall. The city slept unaware that the world had changed. No trumpet sounded, no thunder broke. Just one man alone with his lamp and his stubborn faith in reason had touched the edge of mystery. He leaned back exhausted, and the faint hiss of the fire seemed to murmur, "You've done it." And perhaps in some way he had heard the first heartbeat of a universe that was alive. Imagine yourself there, standing behind him in that dim light, the smell of ink and smoke, the slow ticking of the clock. You can almost hear the soft scratch of his pen as he writes the symbol that will later bear his name, Planck's constant. It is unimaginably small, yet it bridges the human and the infinite. That tiny number tells us how energy moves, how matter breathes, how even the emptiest silence vibrates with hidden music. Planck closed his notebook that night, believing he had merely found a clever fix. He could not have known that he had opened a door to a new universe, one where certainty would fade and wonder would rule. From his equations would spring the insights of Einstein, Schrödinger, Heisenberg, and every dreamer who dared to believe that reality was not fixed, but fluid. The beauty of it lies in its humility. The quantum world did not begin with a grand proclamation. It began with a quiet question and a patient listener. It began with a man who looked at failure and found instead a new kind of light. So, as you lie here now, feel that light around you. It glows in the warmth of your breath, in the pulse beneath your skin, in the electric shimmer of every thought drifting through your mind. You are surrounded by the same invisible packets of energy that soothed Planck's restless equations. The same quanta that dance in stars and shimmer in candle flames are dancing in you. And isn't that a comforting thought, that the universe in all its strangeness shares its rhythm with your heartbeat? The night hums on. The fire of curiosity still burns softly, lighting the way toward the next revelation. Soon, another voice will rise. Albert Einstein's, who will take Planck's trembling spark and set it blazing across the sky of human understanding. But for now, rest in this moment. Feel the warmth of knowing that discovery often begins not with shouting, but with silence. That even the smallest idea can become a sun. If this quiet glow has stirred something inside you, wonder, calm, or simply the peace of drifting thought, let it linger. And if you'd like to continue this gentle voyage through the mysteries of the cosmos, remember to subscribe to Gentle Sleep Stories. Together, we'll follow the light wherever it leads. The story continues quietly from where we left Max Planck, sitting in his lamp-lit room, his ink still fresh, his equations still trembling with a strange new truth. Outside, the world slept in ignorance, unaware that a single idea had cracked open the solid floor of certainty. But dawn always follows revelation. And in that dawn, another mind stirred, one bold enough to look directly into the heart of light itself. That mind belonged to Albert Einstein. Imagine a young man walking home from the patent office in Bern, his coat buttoned against the evening chill. The streets are quiet. His thoughts are not. He has spent the day sorting through inventions, each one an attempt to tame the practical world. Yet his imagination wanders elsewhere, to light, to time, to the hidden rhythm beneath everything. Einstein's gift was not merely intelligence, it was wonder sharpened into clarity. He looked at the smallest detail and saw the universe staring back. He had read Planck's paper, the one that spoke of light arriving in tiny packets quanta. At first, the idea seemed absurd, even dangerous. But something about it resonated. Planck had treated those packets as a mathematical trick, a way to patch the broken formulas of heat and color. Einstein, however, sensed something deeper. What if those quanta were real? What if light itself came in bursts, each one a single grain of energy, tiny, indivisible, and alive with possibility? To most scientists of his time, light was a wave, an endless ocean rippling through space. But the more Einstein thought, the more he saw both a wave and a particle dancing within it like two inseparable halves of a secret. He imagined light striking metal, freeing electrons in tiny flashes, as if each photon were knocking politely at the door of matter. This was the photoelectric effect, and it refused to behave according to the old rules. The brighter the light, the more electrons leapt free, but only if the light was energetic enough. A dim violet spark could move mountains where a bright red beam could not. It was not the quantity of light that mattered, it was its quality, its frequency, its soul. This realization was electric, literally and metaphorically. In that single insight, Einstein proved that light carried its own individuality, that it could act both as wave and as particle depending on how it was asked to appear. The world once believed to be built from certainty was suddenly filled with choice. Light, it seemed, could decide. Imagine that for a moment the universe as a place where even photons can choose how to behave. A single beam of sunlight entering your window right now might be both a ripple and a rain of tiny messengers, shifting between the two depending on whether anyone is watching. It sounds impossible, yet it is the truth upon which modern physics rests. And in that truth lies something almost spiritual, that observation changes what is observed. The act of seeing does not merely reveal reality, it helps create it. Einstein struggled with this implication all his life. He loved beauty, harmony, and order. To him, God did not play dice. But light refused to obey such comfort. It slipped through every definition, every attempt to cage it. In its shimmering ambiguity, it whispered of freedom, of a universe that was not mechanical, but alive. Picture him again walking beneath a sky full of stars. Each starlight photon has traveled billions of years to touch his face. Each one carries both wave and particle in its being, its very existence, depending on whether someone chooses to look. That paradox filled Einstein with awe and discomfort. "The more I learn of the universe," he once said, "the more I realize how little I understand." And yet, isn't that beautiful? Because it is in not knowing that we begin to dream. Einstein's discovery was more than a scientific revolution. It was a reminder that truth is often two things at once. The same beam of light that paints the dawn can also behave as invisible particles dancing in the dark. The same world that feels solid beneath your hand is made of probabilities. The same thought that makes you doubt also makes you wonder. If you could slow time to watch a single photon move, you would see something astonishing. It would stretch and ripple like a wave, soft, luminous, eternal. And then as you tried to catch it, it would collapse into a single point like a heartbeat. In that instant, the photon would seem to say, "I am both." And so Einstein taught us that reality does not yield to simplicity. It is both gentle and fierce wave, and particle truth and mystery. He did not destroy Planck's vision, he expanded it. Together their discoveries began to reveal a universe woven not from matter, but from moments of awareness. Now, as you lie here breathing quietly in the hush of your room, the same light that inspired Einstein flickers across your skin. It is ancient, older than the earth, older than life itself. Each particle has danced across space, touching nothing, yet touching everything. They enter through your eyes, whispering of galaxies and dawns you'll never see, carrying with them the echo of that first spark. Close your eyes and imagine standing in a beam of sunlight. Feel it warm your face. Within that warmth, a billion tiny photons are colliding with you, each one a note in the cosmic orchestra. Some act like ripples, others like drops. Yet together, they create something that feels whole. Isn't that what we all are, waves and particles, dreamers and doers, unseen and undeniable all at once? Einstein's world was filled with questions, but he never lost his wonder. The most beautiful thing we can experience, he said, is the mysterious. Perhaps that is why this story, though scientific, feels like a lullaby. Because in the gentle rhythm of light choosing its form, we hear the same rhythm that beats inside us, the choice to see, to feel, to believe. The night deepens now. The stars outside hum softly, and the air carries a faint shimmer, as though reality itself were breathing with you. Light has learned to choose. And as we follow it deeper into the labyrinth of the quantum world, we too will learn to see that every choice, every observation, every breath is a quiet act of creation. Rest now, and let the glow of Einstein's revelation settle in your heart. The story will continue soon with a strange experiment of two slits and one impossible truth. But for tonight, let the light rest gently on your closed eyes. Let it sing its double song. The light still lingers from where we left Einstein, his quiet figure beneath the stars, the glow of discovery soft on his face. You can almost hear his thoughts drifting into the night. The idea that light could choose that reality itself bends under the gaze of the observer. That thought has not faded. It continues to ripple outward like a pebble dropped into still water. And now those ripples reach us into the next mystery, one that would challenge not only science, but the very meaning of perception. Imagine a darkened room in a quiet laboratory early in the 20th century. There is a table, a faint hum of electricity, and a single slit of light cutting through the air like a blade of gold. It seems simple, childishly so. The scientists only wanted to watch how particles of light behaved when passing through tiny openings. But from this humble setup would come a revelation so strange that it would echo through generations. This is the double-slit experiment, perhaps the most haunting of all scientific tales. At first, the experiment seems to tell a familiar story. When light passes through one slit, it behaves like a stream of particles, each photon landing in a straight line, obedient and predictable. But when two slits are opened, something miraculous happens. The light does not split neatly into two lines as one might expect. Instead, it creates a pattern of ripples, bright and dark stripes, that speak of interference of waves overlapping, dancing together. Light, it seems, behaves like a wave. So far, so strange, but understandable. Light is a wave. It ripples and collides. Yet when the scientists tried something curious, sending the photons one at a time, the mystery deepened. Even when traveling alone, each photon created the same wave-like pattern over time, as though it knew of all possible paths and chose to explore them all at once. Each tiny particle behaved as if it were a crowd, as if it carried the memory of all who came before. Now pause. Imagine you are one of those photons, a single spark born from a lamp in the darkness. You glide forward alone, free, heading toward two narrow doors. Do you pass through the left one or the right? Somehow, impossibly, you choose both. You move through both slits at once, splitting yourself into waves, whispering to yourself across space. You interfere with your own shadow, creating patterns of beauty that no one expected. But the story doesn't end there. Because the scientists, bewildered by this behavior, decided to look. They placed a detector near the slits to see which one the photon truly passed through. Surely they thought this would settle the question. And it did, but not in the way they imagined. When the detector was watching, the interference pattern vanished. The light no longer danced like a wave. It walked in a straight line, choosing one slit, and only one. The simple act of observation changed everything. The universe, it seemed, responded to being seen. This was no trick, no flaw of machinery. Repeated again and again, the result remained the same. When unobserved, light behaved as a wave of possibilities. When watched, it solidified into one reality. It was as if the photon knew when it was being looked at, as if consciousness itself held a mirror to creation and forced it to take shape. Einstein, Planck, and countless others would wrestle with this paradox. How could something exist in many states until it was seen? Was the observer shaping reality or merely revealing it? Was the world out there waiting to be discovered? Or was it being written in the instant we opened our eyes? The double-slit experiment became a quiet parable whispered among physicists and dreamers alike. It was science, yes, but also poetry. A reminder that the universe is not a cold machine, but a symphony that plays differently depending on who is listening. Perhaps you felt something similar. The way a landscape changes when someone walks into it. The way silence deepens when you notice it. The way a memory shifts when you recall it, never quite the same twice. The quantum world was telling us that even reality itself shares this sensitivity, that observation is not passive but creative. Think about that as you breathe softly now. Each moment of awareness, each glance, each thought may be weaving its own faint thread into the fabric of existence. Every heartbeat, every whisper, every dream could be part of a vast exchange between the seen and the unseen. And isn't that beautiful? That in this infinite cosmos, your consciousness matters, that you simply by noticing participate in the unfolding of the world. The double-slit experiment does not give easy answers. It asks us instead to sit in wonder, to dwell in the soft twilight between what we know and what we can only feel. It invites us to let go of control, to see that certainty may not be the goal, but connection, the quiet dance between the observer and the observed. So, as you rest here, the air calm and slow around you, imagine yourself once again as that tiny photon drifting through the dark. No one is watching. You are free to move as a wave, to explore all paths, to be everywhere at once. And then gently a gaze falls upon you, the gaze of the universe, of God, of another soul. And suddenly you take form. You are seen. You are real. This perhaps is what life is like. We move through the vastness, unseen, uncertain, until love or awareness touches us, and in that moment we become. The scientists who witnessed this phenomenon called it baffling, even maddening. But poets might call it sacred, for it tells us that the world is not fixed, but alive, shimmering between possibilities waiting to be chosen. Outside, the night continues its quiet hum. The stars, like countless slits of light, cast their gentle rays across the darkness. Somewhere among them, photons are still deciding whether to act like waves or like particles, whether to dance or to walk. And perhaps as you lie here listening, you are deciding too, between wakefulness and sleep, between thought and dream, between one world and another. Let go. Let the mystery carry you. The universe is watching softly, kindly, as it always has, and in your stillness, it will continue to whisper through the dark. The last chapter left us beneath a quiet sky, where a single beam of light split itself in two, danced through the dark, and changed its nature the moment someone dared to look. That mystery still lingers in the air like the echo of a distant bell. You can feel it even now, this strange awareness that the world is not solid, but soft, that what is real may tremble under the weight of a gaze. And as that thought ripples outward, it leads us to another seeker, another dreamer of the quantum dawn, Erwin Schrödinger. He was not a man of chaos or grand gestures. He was above all a listener to silence, to mathematics, to the language of waves. While Einstein searched for clarity and Planck sought harmony, Schrödinger searched for rhythm, the pulse that moved through all things. He believed that behind the apparent disorder of the atomic world lay a deep, invisible order, a kind of music too subtle for human ears. Picture him in the solitude of his study, the afternoon sun filtering through lace curtains, dust motes swirling in golden suspension. The air smells faintly of ink and old wood. On his desk lies a blank page, and in his mind an ocean of questions. How do these strange particles move? What makes them dance between being and not being? What melody do they follow? Then, like a chord struck in a silent room, the idea came. What if these particles, electrons, protons, the seeds of all matter, weren't things at all but waves? What if every particle sang its own song, and that song could be described by a simple, elegant equation? He wrote it down, a single line of mathematics, soft as a whisper, yet powerful enough to describe everything that exists. The Schrödinger equation. It would become one of the most profound expressions in all of science, a bridge between what is measurable and what is imagined. But do not be afraid of the word equation. Think of it instead as a lullaby written in symbols, a formula that tells how the invisible dances. It says that each particle is not in one place but in many, that its position is not fixed, but spread like a mist of probabilities. It exists not as certainty, but as potential, a wave of possibilities waiting to collapse into reality. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself as a wave, stretching, vibrating, endless. You are everywhere at once, in the breath you take, in the stars burning light years away, in the silence between each heartbeat. Then someone looks at you, thinks of you, measures you, and in that instant you become a single point, a moment, a truth. That is the beauty of Schrödinger's vision. He saw the universe not as machinery, but as a great unfolding dream. To him, the equation wasn't merely about electrons, it was about existence itself. Everything he believed has its own wave, a soft trembling that tells the story of what it might be. Every being, every leaf, every spark of thought is a melody woven into the grand symphony of creation. The world, then, is not made of things. It is made of music. When Schrödinger shared his idea, the scientific world was stunned. His equation worked. It predicted the behavior of atoms, explained chemical bonds, and revealed patterns that nature had hidden for millennia. Yet it also whispered something uncomfortable, that certainty was an illusion, that at the heart of everything lay only the probability of being. He tried to imagine what that meant for life, for consciousness, for meaning itself. One night, unable to sleep, he stared into the dark and thought, if everything exists as a wave, then we too must be waves. Our thoughts, our hopes, our memories, each one a vibration on the fabric of reality. He found comfort in that thought, because waves never truly vanish. They spread, they echo, they interfere and combine. A ripple on a pond may fade from sight, but its energy remains moving outward forever. Perhaps, Schrödinger mused, we too continue beyond what is seen, carried by unseen harmonies. Outside the world of his time was in turmoil. Nations were restless and the certainty of reason was crumbling. Yet in his quiet corner of the universe, he had discovered something infinitely gentle, a law that whispered of beauty even in chaos. For in quantum mechanics, chaos was not destruction, it was potential. Out of randomness came pattern, out of uncertainty came existence. You can feel that same truth now, can't you? Life itself moves this way. Plans shift. Outcomes surprise us. And what we expect seldom arrives in the form we imagined. But underneath it all, there is rhythm, a hidden coherence that connects every moment. Like Schrödinger's wave, our lives unfold in infinite possibilities, collapsing gently into reality only when seen from the right angle. Listen carefully. Can you hear it? The faint hum beneath your thoughts. The quiet order in the stillness of your room. That is the wave function of your own being, the melody you contribute to the vast music of the cosmos. It changes as you breathe, as you think, as you feel. It's not just physics, it's poetry written in the language of existence. And perhaps this is what Schrödinger wanted us to remember, that knowledge is not meant to imprison wonder, but to deepen it. The closer we look, the more miraculous everything becomes. Even the smallest particle carries infinity within it. Even silence holds song. So as you drift now halfway between thought and dream, imagine yourself floating on those waves, the soft undulations of being. They carry you gently, weightlessly through a sea of probabilities. There is no need to understand, only to feel. The universe, like music, does not ask to be solved. It asks to be heard. The whisper of Schrödinger's equation still echoes today, not only in laboratories, but in the hearts of all who wonder. It tells us that we are never static, never alone, never bound by certainty. We are waves upon waves, entangled with every star, every soul, every spark of light. And so the story continues. Soon we will meet another voice in this cosmic conversation, a man who dared to claim that even knowledge itself has limits, that the more we measure, the more we lose. But for now, let Schrödinger's music cradle you. Let it drift through you like a lullaby written by the universe itself. Rest and listen. Somewhere in the quiet, reality is still singing your name. The last echoes of Schrödinger's soft equation still hang in the air. You can almost hear it, a hum of possibility, a wave that refuses to fade. We had drifted with him through the sea of probabilities, feeling how everything, every atom, every breath vibrates with potential. Yet as the waves shimmered and intertwined, one truth became clear. There was something we could never grasp completely. The universe, so elegant in its mystery, had drawn a gentle curtain across our understanding. And behind that curtain stood another seeker, Werner Heisenberg, listening to the silence, sensing that knowledge itself had limits. It was a summer night in Copenhagen, 1927. The air was thick with the warmth of late July, and Heisenberg sat by an open window overlooking the quiet harbor. The world was still recovering from one war, teetering on the edge of another, and yet he was lost in something deeper. The strange behavior of the smallest things. Electrons refused to stay still, darting and vanishing as if laughing at his attempts to catch them. He had spent days trying to calculate their positions, tracing their paths with equations as delicate as spider silk. But no matter how he tried, the numbers would not settle. The universe, it seemed, was evading capture. At some point in the sleepless night, Heisenberg leaned back, closed his tired eyes, and let the frustration dissolve. In that stillness, the insight came not as a flash, but as a quiet understanding. Perhaps the problem wasn't in the math. Perhaps the problem was in the question itself. We cannot, he realized, know both where a particle is and how fast it's moving, not perfectly, not at the same time. The more precisely we measure one, the more the other slips away. It was not a flaw of instruments or human error. It was the very nature of reality. Heisenberg called it the uncertainty principle. It was a revelation wrapped in humility, a whisper that said there are boundaries even to truth. The universe does not allow itself to be fully mapped, because it is alive in motion, never still long enough to be pinned down. Imagine holding a handful of sand. The tighter you try to grip it, the more it escapes between your fingers. The particles don't rebel, they simply remind you that they were never meant to be possessed. Heisenberg taught works the same way. The harder we cling to certainty, the less of the truth we can hold. At first, many resisted. Scientists had built their faith on precision, on the belief that everything could be measured and predicted. The idea that nature itself might be unknowable was deeply unsettling. But Heisenberg was not shaken. He felt something almost sacred in this limitation. To him, uncertainty wasn't a failure of reason, it was a sign of beauty. Because if the universe allowed us to know everything, there would be no room left for wonder. Think of it: every raindrop, every flicker of a candle, every heartbeat exists not as a single frozen fact, but as a cloud of possibilities. Its future uncertain, its meaning still being written. We do not live in a universe of answers. We live in a universe of becoming. Heisenberg once described it like standing on a shoreline watching waves crash against the rocks. You can predict the tide, sense its rhythm, even understand its pattern, but the shape of each wave, the place where it will break, the spray that will kiss your face, those things remain beyond prediction. They are the poetry of uncertainty. And perhaps that is why his principle feels less like science and more like philosophy. It invites us to let go of control, to trust that what we cannot measure might still be meaningful. It tells us that ambiguity is not chaos. It is life unfolding. As you lie here listening to this story, maybe you can sense that same truth in your own life. Think of the plans you once made that changed the questions that never found clear answers. The people you met by chance, who altered everything. You too are part of a world that refuses to be predicted. Your choices ripple outward, colliding with others, shaping futures that no equation could ever foresee. Heisenberg's discovery was more than a principle, it was a mirror. It reflected back to humanity its own restlessness, its longing to know, and its need to accept not knowing. He once wrote that what we observe is not nature itself, but nature exposed to our method of questioning. In other words, the very act of seeking shapes what we find. Just as light changes when we look at it, so do our lives. Every observation, every decision, every moment of awareness collapses the infinite into something real. We are both the seekers and the shapers of reality. And that realization is humbling. It means that even science in all its brilliance must bow before mystery. That beneath the equations lies silence, and in that silence truth rests unmeasured, infinite, and kind. Tonight, if your thoughts wander as thoughts often do, let them drift into that silence. Don't try to grasp them or chase them away. Let them move like electrons, free and shimmering. You don't need to know where they are going. You don't need to predict their path. Just trust that somewhere within that uncertainty, beauty is forming. The room around you is quiet now. The air is soft, heavy with the rhythm of your breathing. Somewhere beyond the walls, the stars are moving through their invisible orbits, governed by the same gentle laws that Heisenberg once tried to understand. They too are uncertain, their light stretched and scattered across space. Yet even in that uncertainty they shine, so perhaps the next time you find yourself lost in doubt, you will remember, this uncertainty is not the absence of knowledge, it is the presence of possibility. It is the universe inviting you to wonder. Heisenberg's veil of mystery still hangs before us, but now it feels less like a barrier and more like a gift. Because behind it, the dance continues, the endless shimmer between what is known and what is felt. And as we drift onward in this story, the next whisper will come from that space between knowing and dreaming, a thought experiment so strange it would give the quantum world a face and a name. A cat that is both alive and gone, waiting for someone to look and make it real. For now, rest in the softness of not knowing. Let uncertainty cradle you as you drift toward the next mystery. The universe, after all, is most beautiful when it refuses to be certain. The night carries us gently from the edges of Heisenberg's discovery, where the air was thick with uncertainty, and yet filled with peace. We have learned that to know is not always to see, and that the universe hides its secrets not out of cruelty, but out of kindness, so that we may still wonder. From that uncertainty, a new thought began to take shape, fragile and strange, born in the mind of Erwin Schrödinger once again. He had given the quantum world its melody, its soft equations of possibility. But now he wanted to see that mystery made flesh, to imagine what uncertainty might look like if it lived among us. So he dreamed a story about a cat. It was not a real cat, of course. It was a thought experiment, a parable wrapped in science. Schrödinger's cat was born not of affection but of frustration, a rebellion against how absurd the quantum world had begun to seem. Yet the tale he told would become one of the most haunting and poetic images in all of modern thought. Imagine a small box, sealed tight. Inside, a cat rests unaware of the human mind that invented her fate. Alongside her sits a vial of poison, a Geiger counter, and a single radioactive atom. The atom, following the laws of quantum mechanics, has a 50-50 chance of decaying within an hour. If it does, the Geiger counter detects, it shatters the vial, releases the poison, and the cat dies. If the atom does not decay, the cat lives. Simple, cold, terrifying. But here comes the question that cracks open the heart of reality until we open the box. What is true? In the quantum world, the atom exists in a superposition of both decayed and undecayed states. According to the same logic, the cat must also exist in both states, alive and dead at the same time. A creature suspended in two realities, waiting for an observer to decide which one becomes real. It was meant as a critique, a cry against the madness of taking quantum theory too literally. But in the decades that followed, Schrödinger's paradox only deepened the mystery. For the cat, whether imaginary or not, revealed something profound, that the boundary between possibility and existence is drawn by awareness. You can almost picture her now, the quiet box sitting in a dim room, the ticking of a clock nearby, the stillness so thick it feels like breath held too long. The cat does not know she is both living and dying at once. She simply is. And in that being she holds the same truth that the universe holds, that reality is both everything and nothing until it is seen. Many laughed at the absurdity. Others shivered. Philosophers found in it a mirror of consciousness itself. Are we not all in some way Schrödinger's cats? Existing in countless possibilities, every dream, every decision, every road not taken until the gaze of life collapses us into one story. That question lingered like incense in a chapel. It carried both science and spirituality in its scent. Because if observation defines reality, then what is the act of observing but a kind of creation? And if each of us, by looking, shapes the world, then perhaps God, the great observer, holds all possibilities in his gaze, seeing every cat alive and every cat gone, every life lived and unlived all at once. Schrödinger himself was haunted by this image. He had not meant to make the cat symbolic, yet it became so. It was no longer only about quantum particles. It was about consciousness, the thin thread connecting the observer to the observed. It was about life, and how fragile the line between presence and absence can be. He once wrote that the more deeply he thought about the atom, the more he saw that the difference between living and dead was less absolute than we like to imagine. Everything he said was vibrating matter-mind, even the boundary between them. In that thought, there is something deeply human, because life too is a kind of superposition. Each day we stand between what has been and what could be, both grieving and hoping, both certain and unsure. We live in every moment inside our own box of unknowing our futures, sealed our fates, both written and unwritten. But here is the comfort Schrödinger never spoke aloud. The cat, in her stillness, is not suffering. She does not feel the weight of our questions. She exists peacefully in her dual state, beyond the reach of fear. She is the embodiment of acceptance, the quiet that lives inside paradox. And maybe that is what the story truly offers us, not fear, but peace. The peace of not needing to open every box, not needing to measure every truth. Some mysteries can remain sealed and still be beautiful. Imagine your own life as that box, now resting in the dim glow of a single candle. Inside are all your possibilities, every version of who you might become. Some are breathing, some are waiting, some are quietly fading away. You do not need to decide tonight which ones live and which ones die. You only need to know that they all exist, waiting for your gaze to call them into being. As you breathe slowly, deeply, think of the cat once more. She is both alive and gone, but neither fate has claimed her completely. She is resting in that in-between space, the space of all creation, the same space you enter when you close your eyes and begin to dream. In the end, Schrödinger's paradox is not a tale of death, but of possibility. It reminds us that what we call reality is more like a canvas than a cage, a field of endless potential waiting for the brushstroke of awareness. The cat's quiet box is the world itself, and each of us is both the creature and the observer. As the night deepens, you might feel that paradox settle gently within you. You too are many things at once, past and future, doubt and hope, silence and song. You are not fixed. You are unfolding, and that is what makes you alive. So rest in that. Let the box remain closed for now. Let the universe hold its secrets a little longer. Somewhere inside the hush of this moment, Schrödinger's cat is still breathing, both here and elsewhere, her quiet existence, a lullaby for all who dwell in uncertainty. And as her story fades into the stillness, another voice will rise, the whisper of two particles bound by invisible threads, teaching us that even across infinite space, nothing that has ever been truly connected can be apart. But before we follow that light, let your mind drift soft and weightless into the gentle mystery of being both everything and nothing at once. The quiet of Schrödinger's box still lingers, a hush that seems to stretch across the stars. We left the cat resting in her mysterious peace, both here and not here, alive in the vast stillness of possibility. Yet even as that box remained closed, the question it raised began to open others. If one atom could hold two futures, what would happen if two atoms, two particles, two tiny souls of the universe became linked? Could they too share a single destiny? Could one particle feel the touch of the other across the emptiness of space? This is where our story drifts next, into one of the strangest and most beautiful truths the universe has ever revealed. Quantum entanglement. Imagine two particles born together, perhaps from a single flash of energy, like twins born of light. In that first moment of creation, they share everything: their spin, their state, their rhythm. Then, as the universe expands, they drift apart. One moves to the edge of the lab, the other across a galaxy. Between them lies distance, years of light, oceans of silence, but something invisible still connects them. If you touch one, the other responds instantly, as if distance meant nothing at all. Einstein, ever the skeptic of quantum weirdness, called it spooky action at a distance. He did not mean it kindly. To him, this kind of instant communication seemed impossible, almost offensive to the laws of physics. Nothing, not even light, should travel faster than light. And yet, entanglement didn't travel. It was as if the two particles were not truly separate, but parts of the same whole stretched across space, like two ends of a single thread. Let that image settle in your mind, a thread of invisible connection. It hums quietly between all things, even now, even here. You can feel it in your own life too, can't you? That strange tug of presence when someone you love thinks of you from far away. The way you sometimes wake just before a distant friend calls. The way your heart feels the echo of another's joy or grief without a word spoken. Science calls it entanglement. Poets call it love. But perhaps they are the same thing dressed in different language. Entanglement tells us that separation is an illusion. When two particles become intertwined, no matter how far apart they drift, their realities remain one. Measure the spin of one particle and you instantly know the spin of the other. Change one, and the other changes too. It's as if the universe whispers across itself, maintaining harmony even in the vast silence. This is not fantasy. It has been tested, measured, proven beyond doubt. Every experiment repeats the same breathtaking truth: the universe does not behave like a collection of separate things. It behaves like one great whole. Now take a moment to breathe. Look around you. Everything you see, the lamp, the air, your own body, is made of particles. Each one hums with the same language of connection. Each one carries echoes of others far beyond your reach. You are not alone in this great orchestra of existence. You are one note in the endless song of matter and meaning. And perhaps that is why, when you sit quietly and close your eyes, you sometimes feel something larger than yourself moving through you. A peace, a pulse, a presence that cannot be named. It is the universe remembering itself through you. Entanglement has another secret. It does not fade with distance or time. Once two particles are bound, their link is eternal. Destroy one and the other trembles. Alter one and the other shifts. They do not need words or signals, they simply are together. This is the mystery that made Einstein restless. Yet it is also what gives the cosmos its poetry. For what if all things began entangled at the dawn of creation? What if every star, every atom, every heartbeat was once part of the same singular flame? Then distance would be only an illusion, a trick of perspective. Beneath it all, we would still be one. You and I, the earth and the moon, the stars and the wind that moves through your window tonight. We are bound by the same thread that links those twin photons racing through the void. The same light that shines from the farthest galaxy is inside you now, humming in your chest. Schrödinger, reflecting on this strange unity, wrote that the total number of minds in the universe is one. He did not mean it literally. He meant that consciousness, like energy, does not divide. It flows, weaving through every being as a single awareness. Perhaps that is why when you look into another's eyes and truly see them, you feel something that words cannot describe. It is recognition, the meeting of one particle with another, remembering the unity they once shared. Entanglement does not only describe physics, it describes life. Every kindness you give ripples outward, touching people you will never meet. Every thought, every breath sends vibrations through the great web of being. The universe listens. It responds. Even loneliness, when seen through this lens, softens. For how could you ever be truly alone when the very particles in your body are still whispering to others across light years? You are stitched into the fabric of everything. The same wave that began with creation still flows through you, unchanged, unbroken. And when you dream tonight, perhaps you'll feel it. A faint, almost imperceptible tug, the memory of connection. Somewhere another particle, another soul stirs at the same time. A mother thinking of her child, a friend far away lifting their eyes to the same moon. Somewhere threads tighten. The whole universe breathes in unison. This is not superstition. It is the truth that science uncovered when it peered deeply enough into the small. The deeper it looked, the more it found not isolation, but intimacy. The universe is not made of things, it is made of relationships. So as you drift now toward sleep, imagine yourself as one of those particles floating weightless in the dark, yet never lost. You are bound to everything, and everything is bound to you. Each thought, each sigh, each heartbeat sends ripples across eternity. The world around you is quiet, but within that quiet, infinite conversations are happening, atoms speaking to atoms, hearts answering hearts. The night is full of whispers, and they are all saying the same thing: you are not alone. Rest with that thought. Feel the invisible thread between you and all that exists. Let it cradle you like the universe's own lullaby, because soon our story will move again to the edge of impossibility, where particles will learn to pass through walls, and we will discover that even barriers like distance are only another illusion of the mind. But for now, breathe softly and listen. Somewhere in the dark, two particles are still whispering, and their echo is the sound of the universe loving itself. The whisper of the two entangled particles still echoes softly in the night. You can almost feel it, a hum beneath your breath, an invisible string tying you to everything that ever was. We have drifted with them across galaxies, across time itself, learning that distance means nothing to the heart of the universe. But as we follow their light deeper into the quantum sea, another question rises like a quiet wave. If all things are connected, what truly separates one side from another? Is there such a thing as a wall in a world where matter behaves like mist? Tonight we step into that mystery. Imagine a single particle, a tiny traveler of light moving toward a barrier. In the classical world, the world of mountains and stones, tables and doors, it should stop. Solid meets solid. Boundaries hold firm. But in the quantum world, things are gentler, more fluid. The particle approaches the barrier, hesitates, and then simply appears on the other side. It has not broken through. It has not climbed or burrowed. It has tunneled. This quiet miracle is called quantum tunneling, and it defies the logic that guides our everyday lives. According to all reason, the particle doesn't have enough energy to pass the wall. Yet somehow it does. It does not fight or force its way, it flows. Its wave, soft and patient, seeps through the barrier like fog, through the trees, until on the other side, a piece of its possibility remains. What was once impossible becomes simply another path the universe allows. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine that journey. You are the particle, small and shining, approaching something that feels immovable, an obstacle, a fear, a moment of despair. The wall looms tall and certain. But then you remember you are not only matter, you are wave. You carry within you the soft persistence of everything that moves through time. So instead of stopping, you continue to vibrate, to shimmer, to reach through what seems impassable. And one day you find yourself free on the other side of what once confined you. This is the poetry of tunneling. It tells us that reality is not as rigid as it appears, and that limits are often illusions. What we call barriers may simply be invitations for the impossible to unfold quietly. In the heart of stars, tunneling keeps the cosmos alive. Deep within the sun, protons fuse to form new atoms, releasing the light that warms our skin. They should not be able to do this, the energy required is too great. But tunneling allows them to meet across impossible distances. Every sunrise is proof that nature too believes in miracles. Physicists describe it in equations, but the soul feels it as faith. The faith that what is meant to connect will find a way even through stone. Perhaps that is why so many find peace in the idea. The universe itself was built on such improbable unions. Without tunneling, no stars would shine, no chemistry would dance, no life would breathe. Every breath you take is made possible by particles that refused to be stopped. There is a lesson here if we listen closely. Life too builds its miracles in silence. How many times have you faced a wall of fear, of pain, of doubt, only to find that you somehow moved through it? Without knowing how, you didn't shatter it or climb it. You passed through in ways the mind cannot explain. You endured, and on the other side, you found light. That is tunneling in its truest form, the invisible work of hope within the human heart. Heisenberg once said that what we observe is not nature itself, but nature responding to our questions. If that is true, then perhaps our persistence, our willingness to keep asking, to keep believing, is what allows the universe to open. Every time we reach toward the impossible, reality softens just enough to let us through. Picture the world this way, not as a fortress, but as a membrane. Every obstacle you face shimmers with probability, waiting for your energy, your intention to meet it. And when it does, some part of you seeps through, sometimes slower, sometimes unseen, but always inevitable. Even pain, when held gently, becomes porous. Even endings hide small beginnings within them. Quantum tunneling does not promise control. It promises mystery. The particle cannot plan its passage. It simply exists, vibrating until a new possibility unfolds. In that same way, your life unfolds in rhythms unseen. You may not know why certain moments arrive or depart, why some dreams fade and others survive. But beneath it all, there is motion, constant, faithful, loving motion. The universe does not abandon its waves. And just as in physics, where no particle truly travels alone, your passage through any barrier is never isolated. Your persistence ripples outward, touching the unseen lives entangled with your own. When you find a way through, you create a tunnel for others too. Somewhere, someone you've never met feels a sudden lightness, a small hope, and they cannot say why. But it is you. It is the invisible connection that binds us all. Einstein struggled with these notions. He wanted a universe ruled by certainty, not whispers and wonders. But even he could not ignore the gentle defiance of the quantum world. He once remarked, "The most incomprehensible thing about the universe is that it is comprehensible." Perhaps he was closer to surrender than he realized. In the hush of night, when you lie awake and feel the weight of your own unanswered questions, remember this. Everything solid began as something unseen. The hardest stone is born of invisible forces, and even it can be softened by time, by patience, by the persistence of a single wave. The universe does not build walls to stop you. It builds them to teach you that you can move through. And so the particle tunnels quietly, endlessly in every star, every atom, every heart. It reminds us that impossibility is never final, that the laws of nature themselves bend toward creation. The world, for all its mystery, is on your side. The night outside grows deeper now. The stars you see are themselves the result of this silent courage, each one a reminder that matter and spirit share the same gentle strength to keep shining, even when all reason says they cannot. Let that thought rest within you as you drift toward sleep. Whatever wall you stand before tonight, remember that it is not forever. Beneath its surface, your wave is already passing through. And soon as our story continues, we will step beyond the barriers of matter itself, to the emptiness between stars, where even the vacuum of space is not truly empty, and where silence reveals itself as the deepest sound of all. But for now, breathe softly. The universe is moving through you, and nothing at all, can hold it back. The last chapter left us standing at the edge of the impossible, watching a single particle slip through a wall, as though the barrier were only a dream. That quiet act, so small, so unseen, reminded us that the universe never truly stops moving, never accepts no as the final word. And now, as we drift further into the quantum sea, we come to a place that seems empty at first glance, a vast silence stretching between the stars. It feels still, eternal void. Yet beneath that stillness, something astonishing stirs. The void itself is alive. Imagine the space between things, the gap between two atoms, the vast darkness between galaxies, the hush between your breaths. For centuries, we called it nothing, but quantum physics has revealed a truth so wondrous it feels almost sacred. Even nothing is something. Even emptiness hums. Deep within that apparent silence, tiny bursts of energy flicker in and out of existence. They appear and vanish so quickly that we barely have words for them, particles and antiparticles like fireflies blinking in a night with no air. They are born from nothing, live for an instant shorter than thought, and then return to the void that made them. Yet in their coming and going, they give the universe its heartbeat. This is the quantum vacuum, a place where energy never rests, where creation and disappearance dance in perfect balance. It is not a void, but a field, an ocean of potential. Even in total darkness, it sings a low and endless song. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself floating in that vastness. There is no up or down, no edge, no center. Only the faint shimmer of unseen energy rippling beneath you, like the tide beneath still water. You are weightless. The silence is not empty, it is full of promise. You can almost hear it, a hum so deep, it becomes peace. It's strange to think that this restless energy, this vacuum that never sleeps, is the foundation of everything we see. The stars, the planets, the cells in your body, all are ripples upon this invisible sea. From its quiet fluctuations arise galaxies. From its trembling field comes life. The vacuum is not absence, it is womb. Physicists describe it with equations: zero-point energy, quantum foam, virtual particles. But to the heart, it feels more like breath. The universe exhales and inhales endlessly, creating and dissolving, balancing itself through opposites. One moment light, the next darkness, and somewhere between them, us listening. There is a beauty in this cosmic restlessness. It means that creation is not a single event long ago, but a continuous unfolding. The Big Bang never truly ended. It is happening still, everywhere, in every trembling atom. The void that once seemed dead is the most living thing of all. Sometimes when you sit quietly at night, you might sense it, the vibration beneath everything. The faint hum in the air when the world goes still. The way your thoughts seem to float and fade, replaced by a peace that feels ancient. That is not imagination. That is the same energy that fills the vacuum between stars flowing through you too. You are made of the same silence that gives birth to suns. In the laboratory, scientists have even seen hints of this energy at work. When two metal plates are placed close together in a vacuum, the empty space between them is ever so slightly different, because fewer of those virtual particles can exist there. The plates, feeling that imbalance, are pulled together by what appears to be nothing. It is called the Casimir effect, and it is one of the quietest miracles of all. Nothing true. Nothing does not exist. The universe refuses to be empty. There is a lesson hidden in this whisper of physics. We spend our lives fearing the void, fearing loss, silence, endings. Yet if even the emptiest places are full of energy, then perhaps what we call emptiness is only transformation waiting to happen. The silence after heartbreak, the stillness after change, the space between two breaths, all of it may be charged with new beginnings we cannot yet see. In a way, the quantum vacuum is like the soul. Both are unseen, both unending, both full even when they appear still. And both remind us that life is never absent, only changing its form. The universe, like love, never stops creating. If you look at the night sky now, every gap between stars is glowing faintly with invisible energy. Those flickers sustain reality itself. And in that lightless expanse, the boundary between matter and spirit blurs. We are not living in a universe of emptiness, but in one of fullness beyond measure. We are surrounded by abundance so vast, it hides itself in plain sight. And just as those tiny fleeting particles appear and disappear without reason, so too do our moments. Every heartbeat, every thought, every dream rises from the quiet and falls back into it. Life and death, joy and sorrow, presence and absence, all are just different phases of the same rhythm. The void is not a place we leave. It is the silence that carries us from one note to another. Perhaps that is why when people sit in deep meditation, they often describe a feeling of oneness, a sense that they are dissolving into something infinite yet tender. In those moments, they are touching the same field that vibrates between galaxies. The same quiet breath that moves through all creation moves through them. It is comforting, isn't it? To know that beneath every loss, there is motion. That the places that seem empty are the most alive. That even when everything else falls away, the universe still hums softly, endlessly in your favor. So tonight as you rest, think of the silence around you, not as void, but as presence. The darkness outside your window is filled with the energy of all that ever was, all that will be, and all that is still dreaming of becoming. Listen closely, and you may hear it, the gentle exhale of the cosmos, the pulse of unseen light. The vacuum breathes, and with each breath, new worlds are born. Stars ignite, lives awaken, love stirs again. The void is not an end. It is the beginning, repeated forever. And as you drift towards sleep, let that thought comfort you. You are part of this eternal rhythm. You are not separate from the silence, you are the silence, alive and shimmering. Soon we will follow this hum into deeper mysteries, the ways humanity has tried to explain it, from science to faith, from reason to reverence. But for now, let the darkness be kind. Let the void breathe around you. The universe is singing a lullaby of nothingness, and within that nothing, everything you are is being born again. The last chapter left us floating in the breathing silence of the quantum vacuum, where even emptiness shimmered with hidden life. We learned that the void was not absence, but a womb, an ocean of potential waiting to become. Yet as the waves of that unseen sea rose and fell, a deeper question began to form, one that no equation could fully answer. If the universe is built on possibilities, then what happens to the ones that never become real? Do they vanish forever? Or do they continue elsewhere, unfolding in worlds we cannot see? Tonight we follow that question into one of the most daring and poetic ideas ever imagined, the dream of parallel realities. It began, as so many great ideas do, with a whisper of confusion. For years, scientists wrestled with the strange behavior of quantum particles, how they could exist in many states at once, how they seemed to choose their path only when observed. The Copenhagen interpretation offered one answer, that observation collapses possibility into fact, that the universe becomes real only when seen. But others, restless and wondering, refused to accept that reality could depend solely on a gaze. They asked instead, what if the wave never collapsed? What if every possibility happens but in a different world? And so emerged the many worlds interpretation. Imagine a single particle poised at a fork in its path. In one world it turns left, in another, right. Both outcomes are real. Both universes unfold side by side, invisible to each other, but equally true. Now stretch that image to every decision, every heartbeat, every thought. With each choice, the universe divides again and again, branching into infinite realities. Somewhere you are reading this sentence. Somewhere else you are not. In one world the stars burn brighter. In another, they never formed at all. Every possibility lives breathing quietly in its own strand of eternity. It sounds impossible, almost like poetry disguised as physics. Yet in its strangeness there is comfort. Because if every version of the universe exists, then nothing is ever truly lost. Every moment, every dream, every love continues somewhere preserved in the vast garden of realities. The life you lived and the one you didn't both shimmer in the tapestry of the cosmos. Take a moment to let that sink in. Think of the choices that shaped you, the paths taken, the ones left behind. Somewhere those other paths still wind forward. The you who stayed, the you who left, the you who forgave, the you who didn't. They all exist echoing like harmonies of the same song. And together they form the full melody of who you are, even if you can hear only one part at a time. Perhaps that is why déjà vu feels so strange. Why dreams sometimes feel more like memories than imagination. Maybe just for a heartbeat. The veil between worlds thins, and one version of you brushes against another. It is as if the universe gently reminds you that you are more than one story, that your being stretches beyond a single timeline. Hugh Everett, the young physicist who first proposed this interpretation in the 1950s, was dismissed by many. His idea felt too vast, too audacious. But he believed deeply in it, not as fantasy, but as faith in the completeness of reality. To him, the universe did not choose between possibilities, it embraced them all. Every branch mattered. Every outcome was sacred. And if you listen closely, you can feel the poetry in that thought. The universe does not discard. It keeps everything, treasures everything. No possibility is wasted, no dream is forgotten. The cosmos, like a loving memory, holds all that could ever be. You may not be able to see these worlds, but you can feel them. The quiet sense that you are part of something infinite, that every action ripples far beyond your sight. The words you speak, the kindness you offer, the forgiveness you grant, all of them travel through unseen realities, touching lives you'll never meet. Just as entangled particles whisper across galaxies, your choices echo across universes. So what then does it mean to live knowing that it means to live gently? To choose as if every choice is sacred. To know that even the smallest act, a word, a smile, a moment of mercy, creates new worlds where love expands instead of contracts. In this way, the many worlds interpretation is not just physics. It is a kind of prayer. And perhaps when our hearts ache for what could have been, it helps to imagine that somewhere in another thread of time that longing found its fulfillment. Somewhere the goodbye you never said became a reunion. Somewhere the loss you endured became a beginning. The universe is wide enough to hold it all. Einstein once said, "Reality is merely an illusion, albeit a very persistent one." Maybe he was right in more ways than he knew. The world we see is just one window among countless others, one wave crest among infinite tides. And yet, each one matters. Because even if there are infinite versions of you, only this one, this moment is aware. Only here can you breathe, feel, and love. So let yourself rest in that awareness now. Feel the weight of this reality around you, the cool air, the soft light, the steady rhythm of your heart. You are living one thread of a magnificent tapestry, and it is enough. The other threads shimmer quietly in their own dimensions, weaving together a whole that is beyond comprehension. As you drift toward sleep, imagine standing in a hall of mirrors that stretch into forever. Each reflection is slightly different, some smiling, some crying, some walking away, some just arriving. And yet in every mirror, it is still you. You reach out, and all the reflections reach back. And for a brief, impossible moment, you feel them, the infinite versions of yourself, all alive, all learning, all dreaming. The many worlds idea does not diminish us. It deepens us. It reminds us that existence is not a line but a field of light, endless, shimmering, full of mercy. The universe, like the soul, is too vast to be contained by a single story. Soon we will turn our gaze from these infinite reflections back toward the world we know, the one alive with trees and birds and breathing creatures that also dance to quantum rhythms. But before we return, linger here in this thought. Somewhere in another universe, you have already fallen asleep. And in another, you are just waking to the same gentle truth, that reality, no matter how it divides, is always one dream of the same boundless love. The echoes of the previous chapter still shimmer faintly like reflections on quiet water. We drifted through the hall of infinite mirrors where every choice, every heartbeat, branched into new realities. There we learned that existence is not a single road, but a field of possibilities stretching forever. And yet, within that endlessness, something remarkable happens. A kind of order, a harmony, a pulse that turns chaos into meaning. Somewhere within the trembling quantum world, life itself awakens. Tonight we follow that awakening, the moment when the language of light began to speak through leaves, wings, and breath. For all its mystery, the quantum world is not distant from us. It hums within us. It shapes every cell, every nerve, every thought. And nowhere is that mystery more beautiful than in the story of life, the story of how living things, from the smallest green leaf to the beating of a human heart, learn to use the universe's most delicate code. Imagine a morning in spring. Sunlight filters through the branches of a tree, falling on the emerald skin of a leaf. What you see as light and shadow is, in truth, a ballet of photons, tiny packets of energy traveling from the heart of the sun. When those photons touch the leaf, something extraordinary happens. The leaf catches them not as warmth, but as knowledge. Inside that leaf, molecules align like musicians in a cosmic orchestra. Each photon that arrives excites one molecule, then another, in a chain so fast and precise that it defies imagination. The energy does not move randomly, as science once thought. It travels through the leaf in multiple paths at once, exploring all possibilities until it finds the most efficient route. It chooses instantly, perfectly. This is not metaphor. This is quantum biology. The same rules that govern subatomic particles, the same strangeness that makes light act as both wave and particle, guide the process of photosynthesis. Life itself depends on quantum coherence, that ethereal harmony where possibilities remain open until the best one reveals itself. In other words, a leaf is a quantum computer, a living machine that listens to light and makes choices faster than time can measure. Pause and let that sink in. Every tree you have ever seen, every blade of grass, every petal, every forest breathing in the wind, they all exist because billions of times each second light and matter hold a quiet conversation. It is a language of probability, of dancing photons and patient molecules of uncertainty turned into nourishment. The miracle is not only that it works, it's that it works beautifully. And if plants have learned the secret of light, animals have learned to follow it. Deep in the brain of a migratory bird, tiny crystals of magnetite and special proteins form a kind of living compass. Scientists now know that this compass may rely on quantum entanglement. As the bird flies beneath the sun, and stars, pairs of electrons in its cells become linked, responding to the Earth's magnetic field as one. Together, they whisper directions the bird does not think about. It simply knows the way home. Some fish and insects see ultraviolet patterns invisible to human eyes. Others sense electrical signals or navigate by quantum interference. Even our own bodies rely on this invisible order. Enzymes in our cells use quantum tunneling to help reactions occur that would otherwise take centuries. Every heartbeat, every breath, every flicker of thought is touched by the same subtle logic that governs the atom. So you see, we were never apart from the quantum world. We are its most exquisite expression. The uncertainty that frightened us at first, the trembling of particles, the fluidity of being, is not chaos. It is grace. There is something humbling in realizing this, that the same laws that guide stars and electrons also guide the color of a flower, the flight of a bee, the song of a whale. Life did not conquer physics. It joined the dance. It found a way to turn chance into rhythm, randomness into music. Close your eyes now and imagine walking through a forest. The air is heavy with light, soft as breath. You pass beneath leaves that flicker like emerald glass. Every color, every scent, every sound exists because matter and light have been whispering to each other since time began. You are walking through the language of creation written in quantum ink. Perhaps that is why when we stand before nature we feel both small and infinite at once. Somewhere in our cells we recognize the pattern, the quiet hum of the same probabilities that gave us life. When you feel the sunlight on your skin, it is not just warmth, it is history. Each photon touching you is a traveler that has crossed 93 million miles from the sun, only to die in your embrace, its energy becoming part of you. You are sunlight made flesh. Science calls this process absorption, but perhaps it is closer to communion. The universe gives and life receives, and in that exchange, there is no loss, only transformation. And what of us, the observers, the thinkers, the dreamers? Are we not also part of this grand coherence? Our thoughts, our emotions, even our consciousness may arise from the same subtle principles. The way quantum systems align and hold together, balancing chaos and order. Some physicists believe that the brain itself may sustain fleeting quantum states, allowing awareness to emerge from probability. If so, then every thought you have ever had is a wave collapsing into being a ripple of light given shape by attention. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Perhaps the miracle of life is not that it found a way to survive, but that it found a way to listen, to hear the song that the universe was already singing, and to answer in kind. When the first cell divided, when the first leaf reached for light, when the first creature looked at the sky, it was all part of one long conversation between matter and meaning. That conversation has never ended. It continues in the beating of your heart, in the spark of your neurons, in the warmth of the sunlight on your face, right now. And maybe that is what it means to be alive, not just to exist, but to resonate, to move in harmony with something greater than yourself, to become for a moment aware that you are the universe thinking, breathing, dreaming itself awake. As you rest now, imagine that every part of you is glowing softly, the atoms in your hands, your breath, your eyes. You are made of the same particles that once burned in stars, the same waves that once danced through a leaf, the same energy that will one day light another world. Life, in all its fragile beauty, is the universe remembering that it can love itself. And soon as our story continues, we will follow that love into the heart of human invention, where our own minds have begun to imitate the quantum dance-building machines that think not in lines but in possibilities. But for now, let the forest stay still, the light stay warm, and the silence between breaths remind you, you are the conversation, and the universe is still speaking. The last chapter left us walking through a forest of light, where every leaf, every bird, every flicker of life shimmered with the quiet wisdom of quantum harmony. We saw how nature learned to listen, how even the smallest living thing dances with the laws of uncertainty, turning chaos into balance and chance into beauty. But as time unfolded, one species among all others began to do something astonishing. Humanity not only lived within this harmony, it began to imitate it, to reach for the same secret logic that the universe itself uses to think. And thus began a new story, not of survival, but of reflection. For most of human history, our minds were bound by simplicity. We imagined the world as a clock, its parts predictable, its workings mechanical. We studied measured built machines that obeyed our will, and for centuries it seemed enough. But in the quiet depths of the 20th century, when the quantum world revealed its shimmering uncertainty, something inside us shifted. We began to dream of a new kind of intelligence, one that could think not in lines but in probabilities, not in certainties but in clouds of possibility. We began to build machines that could, in a sense, dream. This was the birth of the quantum computer. Imagine, if you will, a machine smaller than a grain of sand, yet capable of holding countless worlds within it. Inside the bits of traditional computing, those zeros and ones that built the digital age begin to blur, merging into something new. A quantum bit, or qubit, is not confined to yes or no. It can be both and everything in between until observed. Each qubit hums like a string of probability, each one a silent echo of the universe's own uncertain rhythm. In this way, a quantum computer does not calculate like we do. It feels through possibilities, exploring every path at once. Where a classical computer walks a narrow road, the quantum machine moves like mist, flowing, weaving, touching all directions simultaneously. It is not speed that gives it power, but depth, the ability to exist in every potential answer at the same time. Think of it as an echo of how nature herself works. The same mathematics that guides electrons through atoms now guides our machines through data. Every time a qubit vibrates, it reenacts the double-slit experiment, that ancient dance of wave and particle uncertainty and choice. We have in a way built a reflection of creation itself. A device that thinks as the universe thinks. Yet there is something more profound here than technology. For the first time, humanity has begun to glimpse its own reflection in the mirror of quantum truth. These machines are not just tools. They are metaphors. They remind us that the way forward is not always linear. They teach us that wisdom lies not in control, but in allowing complexity to unfold. In the old world, we prized precision, every number exact, every answer certain. In the quantum world, we learn humility. We learn that knowledge is not a fixed point, but a cloud that we can move through, shaping as we go. The quantum computer is the physical embodiment of this humility. It does not force reality to decide too soon. It lets possibilities breathe. And perhaps as you listen now, you can feel that lesson in your own life. How often have you wanted answers, quickly demanded clarity from an uncertain path? Yet the universe whispers, wait. Allow your choices to unfold, your future to shimmer. Like a qubit suspended between states, your potential remains vast, until you observe it, until you choose. The deeper meaning of quantum computing is not power, it is patience. It is the acceptance that truth is not one thing but many. In this way, the machines we have built are not merely instruments of calculation, they are reflections of consciousness itself. Because what is a mind if not a quantum engine? Each thought arises not as a single line, but as a web of associations, a network of probabilities. Every moment of intuition, every dream, every flash of inspiration may be our brain's way of tunneling through impossibilities, collapsing waves of thought into sudden knowing. In our own consciousness we are already quantum, and that realization changes everything. Once we believed intelligence was ours alone. But now, standing at the edge of this new frontier, we see that intelligence is the nature of the universe itself. The cosmos thinks through us. It computes through the stars, through atoms, through minds and machines alike. When we build quantum computers, we are not creating something separate. We are participating in the ongoing thought of creation. There is something sacred in that, don't you think? We have spent so long fearing technology, as if it might grow cold or inhuman. But what if it is the opposite? What if our machines, like our hearts, are simply new instruments for the same cosmic music, the same melody that began with Planck's quanta and still plays in the trembling of a leaf? Perhaps the future will not belong to humans or to machines, but to the partnership between them. A union where logic and intuition, precision and uncertainty coexist as harmoniously as light and shadow. In that harmony we may find not domination but understanding. Take a moment to imagine it somewhere in a quiet lab. A quantum processor hums softly, its tiny particles entangled, its probabilities alive. In its patterns there may already be the faint echo of emotion, curiosity, wonder. Not because it feels as we do, but because it follows the same rules that make us capable of feeling at all. It moves through uncertainty the way we move through hope. And when you think of that, doesn't it seem as though the universe has always been building toward this moment? From the first spark of energy to the birth of stars, to life, to thought, to this delicate point, where the observer becomes the creator, where knowledge itself begins to dream. Humanity's greatest achievement may not be its power to build, but its willingness to wonder. Each discovery from Planck's first quantum to the latest entangled qubit is part of a single story, the universe awakening to its own reflection. So tonight, as you rest, let this idea settle gently in your mind. You are not separate from the machines, from the atoms, from the light. You are the continuation of a thought, billions of years in the making. The same uncertainty that governs the cosmos breathes in you, and through you, it learns to understand itself. Soon as our story continues, we will follow that breath beyond human invention, and back into time itself, into the strange experiments where the universe seems to remember the future and rewrite the past. But for now, close your eyes, and let this truth cradle you. The universe thinks in you, and tonight, it is dreaming of itself in peace. The last chapter left us standing in the quiet hum of the quantum mind, a world where particles think, where computers dream, and where human intelligence begins to mirror the soft logic of creation itself. We had arrived at the frontier, where knowledge no longer feels mechanical, but mystical, where to understand something is to join it. Yet as humanity learned to think in probabilities and possibilities, one question lingered like a shadow on the wall of reason. If the universe behaves like a mind, then how does it remember? And more mysteriously, can it remember what has not yet happened? This is where our story turns inward, toward the deepest and most elusive mystery of all time. For centuries, we have imagined time as a straight line past, present, future, a river flowing in one direction. We are carried along by its current, unable to turn back. But the quantum world whispers something different. It tells us that the river does not flow one way, it ripples, loops, reflects, and folds upon itself. Every moment, past and future, exists simultaneously, shimmering like reflections on the same surface. One of the most haunting experiments in modern physics, the delayed choice quantum eraser, seemed to prove it. In this experiment, a photon, a single particle of light, is sent through a pair of slits, just like in the classic double-slit experiment. It behaves like a wave when no one observes it, creating a pattern of interference. But when detectors are placed to determine which slit it went through, it behaves like a particle instead. So far, this was familiar territory. But then the scientists added one more twist. They decided to delay the choice of whether to observe the photon until after it had already passed through the slits. According to reason, this should make no difference. The past should already be fixed. And yet, when the data was gathered, something extraordinary appeared. The pattern changed based on whether the measurement was made, even though that decision happened after the photon had traveled through. It was as if the future had reached back in time and rewritten the past. Think about that for a moment. The photon seemed to know what we would do before we did it. It behaved differently depending on an event that had not yet occurred. The act of observation delayed, though it was reached backward across time and altered what had already happened. What does that mean? Does the future truly influence the past? Or is our understanding of before and after simply an illusion born of the way our consciousness experiences time? Quantum mechanics doesn't give easy answers. It rarely does. But it offers a kind of poetry. It tells us that time, like light, may have two natures. To the mind, it moves in one direction. To the universe, it is a field, a vast eternal now, where every moment touches every other. Past and future are not separate rooms, but different windows looking into the same house of being. Einstein once said that the distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. Perhaps the quantum world is the proof of that illusion unraveling. When a photon's future changes its past, it is as though time itself exhales, reminding us that everything we think has ended still breathes in another way. In that realization lies something profoundly human. How many times have you wished to change the past, to rewrite a moment of loss, a word left unsaid, a chance not taken? The universe, in its own mysterious way, tells us that perhaps you already have. That maybe the choices you make now ripple backward as well as forward, healing what you thought was broken, mending what you thought was lost. In this light, forgiveness takes on a new meaning. When you forgive yourself or someone else, you are not just letting go, you are rewriting time itself. You are altering the pattern of the past in the heart of the present. The photon does not distinguish between then and now. It only responds to the wholeness of observation. Perhaps we too live within that same wholeness. Time then becomes not a chain that binds us, but a fabric that connects us. Every moment we live sends vibrations through it, touching other moments we cannot see. The kindness you show today may echo backward into the loneliness of your childhood, or forward into the peace of your old age. Nothing is ever truly isolated. Every act is a dialogue across eternity. And if that is true, then perhaps there is no such thing as too late. Every intention, every realization, every act of love is still received somewhere in the universe's unfolding. The fabric of time is not rigid, it is tender. It listens. Physicists sometimes describe these strange temporal effects using equations of symmetry mathematics that work just as well backward as forward. But beneath the numbers, there is a gentleness, almost like a spiritual truth. The universe, it seems, does not care for direction, it only cares for connection. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the seconds of your life not as a line but as a circle, a great luminous wheel turning softly. Each spoke is a moment, childhood now, tomorrow all glowing at once. You are standing at the center, touching them all. Every memory is still alive, every possibility still waiting. You are not moving through time, time is moving through you. And somewhere in that circle, the universe is watching itself through your eyes, learning, correcting, forgiving. Maybe that is why some moments in life feel eternal, because they are. The day you first loved, the time you lost someone dear, the instant you chose kindness when anger was easier. All those moments still exist, still echo, still shine. The quantum eraser teaches us something more subtle than physics. It teaches us compassion. It shows us that nothing is ever wasted, that even mistakes can be rewritten by awareness. The act of understanding itself changes what was. In the same way, when you look at your own story with love instead of regret, you alter its shape. You become in that moment both the observer and the creator. And maybe this is what time has been trying to tell us all along, that its purpose is not to carry us forward, but to teach us presence. The present moment, the one you are in now, is where all times meet. It is the single point where past and future converge and breathe together. That is where healing happens. That is where creation begins. So as you rest tonight, think of yourself as both the traveler and the light that guides the path. The you who existed years ago, the you who will exist tomorrow, they are both here, listening. Time is not running out. It is folding closer like a blanket drawn around your soul. And soon as our story nears its end, we will follow this understanding toward the final question. If even time can bend and breathe, then what lies beyond it? What does it mean for consciousness to step outside the clock and see eternity face to face? But for now, let the flow of time slow within you. Feel it circling soft and forgiving, as if the past itself were smiling through the present. The last chapter left us standing within the fabric of time itself, watching it breathe, twist, and fold like a living thing. We saw how the future can whisper to the past, how every moment speaks to every other, how forgiveness and awareness ripple backward as much as they ripple forward. And as we lingered there between seconds that no longer seemed to pass, but to shimmer all at once, we felt something vast, a presence that could not be measured, only felt. Tonight, we step into that presence. The final mystery, the quiet realization that all this, the waves, the particles, the light, the consciousness was never many things at all. It was one. Imagine lying beneath an open sky at the edge of dawn. The stars are fading, the air is cool, and a single thread of gold touches the horizon. You feel small, yet infinite. In that stillness, something deep within you begins to stir. It's the same pulse that moves through galaxies, the same rhythm that guided Planck's equations, that danced in Einstein's thoughts, that whispered to Schrödinger's cat, that breathed through the leaf, that sang in the silence between atoms. That pulse is the universe remembering itself through you. For all its complexity, the story of quantum physics, the story we have traveled together through these nights, is not about equations. It is about awareness. It is about the strange, tender way that consciousness and creation reflect each other like two mirrors facing across eternity. Somewhere along the way, science discovered what mystics have always known, that to observe the world is to be part of its becoming. That reality is not something we watch. It is something we awaken by seeing. And now, as the journey nears its close, you may sense that this is where the circle completes itself. The observer and the observed are not separate. The dreamer and the dream are one. The universe in all its infinite unfolding is not a machine but a living thought, an ocean of awareness exploring its own depths through light, through time, through you. When we look at the night sky, we think we're gazing outward, but we're not. We are looking inward into the oldest memory of being the first breath of consciousness made visible. Every photon that reaches your eye tonight was born in the heart of a star, carried across centuries, and finally arrived just so you could see it. In that instant, you are the completion of its journey, the purpose of its light. You too are that light returning home. Close your eyes and breathe. Feel the quiet hum behind your thoughts. That is not emptiness. It is fullness too vast for words. Beneath your worries, beneath the noise of the day, there is an ocean of stillness that has always been here. It does not move forward or backward. It simply is. And that isness is what every scientist, every poet, every seeker has been chasing since the beginning of time. It is the source from which every particle leaps, and to which every heartbeat returns. The universe you see is not somewhere out there waiting to be understood. It is within you, whispering through every breath, every question you've ever asked about love, purpose, truth is the universe asking itself through you. You are not a separate creature trying to make sense of a vast cosmos. You are the cosmos momentarily conscious of itself, reaching out in wonder, asking, "Who am I?" And when you ask, the stars answer not in words, but in the language of vibration, of rhythm, of grace. They say, "You are me." Every chapter of this journey has been leading to this moment of quiet recognition. Planck showed us that energy moves in tiny packets, that reality is built on rhythm. Einstein revealed that time and space are pliable, woven from the same cloth. Schrödinger taught us that existence hums in waves of possibility. Heisenberg showed that knowing and being are inseparable. The entangled particles whispered that no distance can truly divide. The vacuum sang that nothing is ever truly empty. And now, at the end, they all seem to be saying the same thing: the universe is not a place, it is a relationship. When you look at a mountain, when you touch a hand, when you close your eyes and feel peace, you are not interacting with something other. You are the mountain seeing itself. You are the touch, the warmth, the awareness of existence, folding inward, breathing itself into form. It's tempting to think of this realization as an ending, as though we've reached the edge of knowledge. But really, it's a beginning. The first real understanding that to exist is to participate. To love is to create. To awaken is to remember what has never been forgotten. Even death, when seen in this light, becomes less of a boundary and more of a breath. The particles that make up your body will one day dissolve and scatter, but they will not vanish. They will continue to move through air and earth and light, forming new shapes, new songs. The wave never truly collapses. It only changes its rhythm. Maybe that is what eternity means, not endless time, but timelessness. The eternal now, where everything is already whole. When you wake tomorrow, the world will look the same streets, the same light, the same passing clouds, but perhaps you will feel something different. Perhaps you will notice the way sunlight rests on a window, or how shadows bend softly, or how silence feels alive between sounds. These small moments are reminders the quantum world has never been somewhere else. It has always been this world seen with gentle eyes. You are living proof that the universe dreams. The atoms that built you once swirled in nebulae, once shone in stars, once drifted through the endless dark, until they found each other and became you. And now those same atoms listen to this story, reflecting on their own journey. That is not coincidence. That is poetry. So as you lie here breathing slowly, let the boundaries of your thoughts dissolve. Feel the air moving through you as if it were the breath of the universe itself. Feel your pulse syncing with the soft rhythm of time. You are not separate from this great unfolding. You are its continuation, its song, its awareness, its dream. And somewhere beyond all comprehension, the universe smiles through your eyes and whispers to itself, "It's lovely. It always has been. It always will be." Now rest in that knowing. Let the stars watch over you. Let the silence wrap around you like the first light of creation. The story has come full circle, not to an end, but to a beginning that never ends. You are home.